everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets, and I wanted to show you what I've been up to over the past day or two. For those of you that don't know or haven't watched some of my other videos, I have decided to start a challenge for myself where I take one stamp set and make 2 or 3 different projects from it. This way I can start to use some stamps that I've never used before because I have a ton that I've never even touched. And it also helps me to stock up my Etsy store and to start making inventory for some craft shows that I have in the next coming couple months. So first I wanted to show you the stamp set that I chose. It's this one, and it's all about friends. I believe it's a Hero Arts stamp set. I did throw away the packaging, which normally I do that because I don't have a ton of room in the boxes that I store the stamps in. So it's just easier if I just keep the stamp set itself and throw away the packaging. And I didn't think that I would ever need to tell anybody what stamp set was what. So I apologize, but this is the stamp set that I use, and I do believe it's Hero Arts. So the first stamp from the set that I chose was Thanks for Being My Friend, this one right up here. And I will show you what I came up with. So this is the card, and the cut was from Kate's ABCs, and it's on page 36, and all of the images, the main ones and all of the accessories, were cut at 4.5 inches. So the background paper was actually from this Die Cuts with a View paper pack, the All About Girls. It's a 4.5 by 6.5 photo mat pad. As you can see, I haven't used much of it. I've had it for probably a year and a half, and I think I've maybe used less than 5 pieces of paper. So I thought it was time that I use that. The colors are, close enough to the colors of the yarn, and the other colors are also very complementary to the card. So I thought that I thought this made a great background. And I inked up the stamp with some teal blue stays on ink. So the interior of the card is completely blank. It's going to go up on Etsy, so the person that gets it or that buys it is going to be able to personalize it. So I thought that one was really cute. So the second card that I did, before I show it to you, I'm going to show you the other stamp sets that I used to go along with this one. If you guys haven't checked out the dollar bin at AC Moore, or I think there's like $1.50 bins at Michael's, you really should. I've gotten a ton of cute stamp sets from there. There's a lot of holiday ones for $1. I usually get them when I either have a 20 or 25% off everything coupon, or sometimes right after the holiday they'll be marked down to like 60 cents, 40 cents sometimes. So it's a great time to pick them up, and a lot of them, there's pieces in it that are generic that you can use all year round, but then you can also use it again for the next holiday for the next year. So the 2 stamp sets that I picked up, I'll show you in 1 second, but I want to show you what sentiment I used from this one. I used You're One of My Nicest Thoughts, this one at the very bottom. So I was trying to figure out what image to use from that. I looked through my Cricut cartridges and couldn't really find anything that I really liked. So I took a play on words about the thought. So I thought, okay, well, what about a thought bubble? So I looked through my stamps and I couldn't find a thought bubble, but I did find this one from Studio J. And this is more of like a speech bubble. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go back through my stamps, and somewhere I must have a little dot or a little circle or something. And I either hid the little circles so well that I can't find them, or I don't actually have any. So I went through some more of my Studio G stamps, and I actually found something that worked from one of their stamp sets. This is one of the Valentine's Day ones that I got. And this little heart right here with the cross hatching, I used that as the little dots underneath the bubble to make it a thought bubble and not a conversation bubble. So here's what it looks like. So if you notice, my sentiment is completely broken up, and on here it's in a line. So what I did was I just cut the stamp every couple of words. No big deal, and inked it up. I inked up the first one in the teal blue Stays on ink. The second one is the Azure Stays on ink. Then I used the Royal Purple. And then I used the Blazing Red. Stays on ink, I feel like gives a nice crisp image when you stamp them, and it really stamped these hearts really well, and you can see the nice cross hatching in them. So once I cut up my stamp and inked it up in the same color as the bubble, I just stamped it on there. For those of you who are worried that the stamp isn't going to look the same when you put it together, it really does. It fits back together really nicely. It doesn't harm the stamp. You can still use it as it was intended, but it's kind of nice to be able to break things up and to do something like this instead of using it just running straight across like the manufacturer made it. So I thought this was cute and different. So this is also going to go up on Etsy. So there's my second card that I made. My third card that I made comes from the Kate's ABC's cartridge, and the one that I used is Life is Sweeter When Shared with Friends. This one right here. So I went through the cartridges and I found this really, really sweet image on Kate's ABC's. It's from page 52, and it's this little girl with the cat in the stroller and the cat behind her. So I just thought that was so cute. I cut it out at 4.5 inches. And I'll show you, this is what it looks like. So I cut all of the images from Kate's ABC's at 4.5 inches. So it does take a little while to put some of these pieces together. They are detailed and really intricate. Like all these little flowers that are on her hat, where I actually had to cut out and take off the Cricut mat and put those on there. So it is a little bit more time consuming to put some of these Kate's ABC's cuts together than it is from other cartridges. So just be aware of that if you're going to use the cartridge, or if you don't have it and you're thinking about getting it. There are a lot of intricate cuts and it does take a little bit longer, and they're probably best used on larger images, because could you imagine if you were cutting that out much smaller? I mean, some of these pieces were hard enough for me to put on there, and it was cut at 4.5 inches. So just something to keep in mind. The two clouds, let me show you, came from Create a Critter, the original one, on page 65, and it's the phrase with the shift button. I cut the one over here out at 1 inch, and then this one is cut at 1 3/4 of an inch. So once I cut that, I inked up the stamp with the Color Box chalk ink. I think it's the second one on this. Rouge, I think that's it. And then stamped it on the cloud, and then I took Studio G, this just like white glitter glue, and went around the edges of the cloud. And the clouds aren't completely dry, that's why it might look like there's little bubbles that are still on there. Some of the glitter hasn't dried all the way. So this is the card. It's completely blank in the middle. I took a piece of light blue cardstock and just cut it at 5 by 7 and just adhered it and down to the card base, and then adhered all the other layers on top of it. So I thought this one was really, really sweet. So those are the 3 cards that I made for the challenge for this stamp set. So I will be moving on to another stamp set tomorrow, and then hopefully within the next couple days I will have some new cards for you for my new challenge. I hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you for stopping by. I will see you soon. Bye guys!